Our headlines today. As the UN warns of a climate catastrophe, the UK government is accused of failing to protect key power, communication and transport networks from extreme weather.
Rishi Sunak continues his overhaul of government, but criticism remains of his decision to reinstate Suella Braverman as Home Secretary.
Good morning. As the Chancellor postpones the government's tax and spending plans for 2 weeks, I'll take a look at what this means for the UK economy.
Strike ballots open today for NHS staff and teachers, with unions pushing for better pay deals.
The Royal British Legion launches its Poppy Appeal this morning. We'll be talking to veterans and the families of veterans throughout the programme.
Good morning. A night of drama in the Champions League. Antonio Conte is sent off after Tottenham are denied a late winner by VAR, a goal that would have seen them progress to the last 16.
Let's have a look at some of today's front pages for you. Many, of course, focusing on the new Prime Minister.
Yeah, the Telegraph says Rishi Sunak is now reconsidering tax rises and major public spending cuts following an improvement in the state of the nation's finances.
Guardian leading on him rejecting what was left of Ms Truss's legacy in his first full day as Prime Minister.
The Times reports that the PM is planning a radical set of reforms to the UK's education system, with ambitions for a new British baccalaureate, which is an alternative to A-levels, and a network of elite technical institutes to transform vocational training. And
let's have a look at the Metro. This image of Mr Sunak in the Commons yesterday. Its lead story headlined, "Don't be gay at World Cup." That's after Foreign Secretary James Cleverly said LGBT football fans should be respectful if they go to Qatar.
Yeah, strong reaction to that all over social media, those comments from Mr Cleverly.
The Eye reports, first of all, that Rishi Sunak could be set to make far-reaching spending cuts next month after ripping up his predecessor Liz Truss's economic plans. With that fracking ban reinstated in England and doubts again about the pensions triple lock, The Guardian says the Truss legacy has been rejected. But The Express asks, do you really want to scrap the pension triple lock again? According to The Telegraph, tax rises could once again be on the cards. The FT says the 3-week delay to next Monday's fiscal statement by the Chancellor will give him breathing space to work out how best to balance the books in the face of the economic crisis. Times has word that major reforms and improvement to education are also on the new Prime Minister's agenda. The Mail leads on the soaring costs of dealing with the country's growing migrant crisis. Don't be gay at the World Cup. That is the Metro on remarks by the Foreign Secretary James Cleverly, which have angered LGBTQ football fans. The Mirror salutes Ukraine's President Zelensky after his address to the paper's Pride of Britain Awards, where a number of his people were honoured. The Star leads with fears for the survival of Britain's pigeons as more and more of them start to act, it says, like zombies. And The Sun has a story about Harry Stiles and his recent film star, Florence Pugh. Now, if you want to see any of those front pages again, or indeed read the stories, then do scan the QR code on your screen right now.
More huge profits for the energy giant Shell. It's made £8.2 billion in the last 3 months.
That's more than double their profits this time last year, as households and taxpayers pick up the bill.
Thursday, the 27th of October, our main story this morning, some news broken in the last hour. The energy giant Shell revealed another set of bumper profits.
The firm made £8.2 billion between July and September. Now, that's double what it made in the same period last year. Hannah's alongside, and you can put those figures into some context for us.
Yeah, these are global profits from the energy giant Shell, as you say, more than double this time last year, $9.5 billion. That's more than £8 billion between July and September. It is less than Shell had made in the previous 3 months, but it continues a record year for the energy giants. Shell have made £26 billion so far this year. Again, more than double what they made last year. In August as well, we had BP posting its biggest profit for 14 years. That was £7 billion at the time. Why is all this happening? Of course, we know the war in Ukraine has really limited the supplies of Russian oil and gas that are available on the international market. So these energy giants are able to charge more because there's less supply in the system for exactly the same product that they've always been making.
Hannah, you'll be well aware that when people hear this, they'll be thinking two things, really. They'll be thinking, look at those profits and look at my energy bill. And how has government, and this is a political question, obviously, this is a real problem in terms of what this looks like and what do you do?
Yeah, as you say, it's what it looks like does really pile pressure on the government in terms of how people feel when they compare these huge numbers to the numbers that are on their own gas and electricity bills. The government's energy price guarantee does mean that effectively none of us are really paying the market rate for our energy bills. The government is effectively picking up the rest of the tab. They have set the average annual household bill at £2,500. It would have been much higher had the price guarantee not been put in place. There are, though, two big questions for the government. What extra support should be in place after April when that energy price guarantee comes to an end, and how to pay for all of this. The outgoing boss of Shell has even said that it's inevitable that some of the energy giants will have to pay taxes on their profits to help the most vulnerable people. Rishi Sunak, now Prime Minister, at the time Chancellor, he would say he's already done that. He introduced a new tax that means the energy giants pay 65% on their profits, but they don't necessarily pay all of that if they choose to invest in new energy here in the UK. Labour, the Liberal Democrats, the SNP, they've all called for that windfall tax to be made even stronger, and it will pile the pressure on the government ahead of that autumn statement in November.
Hannah, thanks very much.